Welcome back to Weebology Podcast. I am your vampiric Professor Ricky.
I want to suck your blood.
Yes.
Hello, I am Ethan.
Yes, and we are two vampires this week because it's a spooky week, Ethan. Halloween.
Yeah, no bless.
No. Oh, yeah. Are you even going to try dressing up in any kind of costume at all?
Never do.
Never do. You're not. I'm a huge costume guy.
Yeah,
I would love to do that
I know
shit.
that.
Last year I went as Lebowski of the Big Lebowski fame. And
I don't think I've worn a costume since maybe I was 10 or 11.
What was your favorite costume you did do though?
So I don't know if I even want to say all this.
It
really opens a can of worms, bro.
You don't have to.
So like, well, one year I was Charmeleon. I was a fan of that.
Yes.
I had a nice little Charmeleon mask.
That's awesome.
And then one year my parents bought me this like insane Wolfman costume.
It's a little too real for a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
But that's pretty much it. Like I pretty much went as an NHL player for 5 years in a row, maybe.
That's a classic. That's a mainstay. I wouldn't shake that boat either.
You just wear the jersey you already have.
My favorite costumes were always the one that were a hit, but like ended up being such a last minute decision. I went a couple years in a row as off-duty Santa, vacation Santa. So Santa hat, white long hair, white beard, red sunglasses, Christmas themed Hawaiian t-shirt, and board shorts. And I was just Santa off duty, and it was awesome. Went off like gangbusters. But I came up with it like a day before. I'm like, fuck, I got nothing here.
I forgot.
Wait, let me get the brilliant idea of dressing up as another holiday.
Classic.
Classic.
You go as a turkey next year.
What do you mean next year? I might just
this year.
I might just do it now. Oh man, but I'm definitely gonna get a disgusting amount of candy this year, though. I'm so ready for candy.
You're gonna get candy?
Yeah, I'm gonna get candy.
Like from the store?
Yeah, right. Like
you're not trick or treating.
Yeah, but I mean, like it'd be
Ricky,
spooky,
you're 28.
Spooky theme candy.
You're 27.
Little Reese's.
How
and, like,
fucking old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
27.
Okay.
But I will be 28.
I was gonna say, it's gotta be soon.
Oh yeah, I'll be 28 in about a month or so from now.
You think we're gonna have a big party this year, or you think Rona's pretty much fucked that?
Oh, I'm gonna make it a big party.
Okay.
Well, as big as it can safely be, and maybe
40
outside.
to 50,000 people minimum.
Well, yeah, that's
or maximum.
Just
really.
half as last year. Yeah,
right.
It was a cool 100K last year.
I mean, normally we feel like, Heinz Field.
Yeah, it was the entire stadium, and then the overflow actually went to the Hyatt.
Right.
So yeah. It was a good banger. It was low key though. It was real low key.
It was really chill. It's like only our closest friends really showed up to it.
The ones that really mean something.
The ones that paid us, frankly.
Yeah, and on the real, there's people listening like, I didn't go to a fucking party last year. And like Tristan's like, I didn't go to a fucking party last year.
Wait, did he?
I don't think so.
Could have sworn he was here.
He maybe was. I don't know.
He came to the party.
But
everyone came, dude.
But you know what? And I'm more excited. Halloween. Screw it. Birthday, screw it. Talking about anime, oh yeah. I'm here for that. I'm now for that. Ethan, what are we doing this week?
This week we are doing our pitch or ditch redux.
Pitch or ditch redux. When we come back. We have already pitched each other shows that we, up to this point, have not seen. And we tried to sell it the best we could. And now we're going to review these two shows and see whether we have done a good job with this pitch. Or is it a ditch? Something I would not give to my worst enemy.
You've given me a ditch before. So.
Yes, I have. Do you want to go first with your show, or we can go first with mine? Thoughts on thoughts?
I feel like there's a lot more to talk about with Tokyo Raven, so let's maybe leave that to last.
There it is.
Because it's longer.
It is much longer. It is 24.
And there's a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely want to bring some of that stuff up. But let's hit that Fukukaiji Balance Unlimited. What were your thoughts? How'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean... Just an incredibly solid show from start to finish. There's not really like, I wouldn't even say there's really any negatives.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about your pitch, very good, except for the fact you basically said that I don't know his name. Rich kid.
Daisuke?
Yeah, Daisuke. You say he like wasn't smart. He's like uncannily smart.
But
he's literally Bruce Wayne.
That is okay. I guess I didn't perceive him that smart because he had no social or resource skills if he didn't have his money, right?
Yeah.
He was literally, he had the social intelligence of like a 10-year-old.
100%.
How to do that. So I guess to me,
but when you're rich, like, you don't need that.
Of course, exactly. So I'm thinking I found him dumb because of that. But you're right. If you, in the late game, he does deduce a lot of shit, like very, very big logical leaps that turned out to be right in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I don't know. He was really solid detective. Obviously, he's got like literally every piece of information he could possibly have.
Yeah.
So that really helped, and he's got his own like basically support team.
Yeah,
so
he does.
That was definitely very interesting. So main characters, I mean, Daisuke was great. The other main character, detective guy,
I think it was Harutora.
Couldn't have been.
I think it was like Harutora.
It might have been.
I found it weird. I think the main characters of both of these shows had the same name.
But anyway, he's really cool too. Like,
Balance Unlimited. Let's get to the bottom of this sucker. Yeah, okay. I guess I found him a little annoyingly.
He's definitely annoying.
Unwavering. Yeah, he, like I said, he's a walking justice boner, man. But I guess he only had the
Harukato.
Okay, nice.
So he was like definitely a little up his own ass about justice.
Yeah, okay.
Which definitely I wasn't. I don't know if I would say I was not a fan of it, but it definitely was a little draining for sure.
I think it worked only because we had so many other characters that went against that at play. Like, if it was a show about him, I don't know if I'd have a really good time with it, but it was about him with Daisuke, with the dirty cop leader guy, like the commissioner or whoever the hell that guy was that was like willing to do some sketchy shit to get justice done.
Commissioner, what do you mean?
Who was the old guy that the girl whose car got blown up? Remember how he was like basically blackmailing her with knowledge about her like son or something like that?
So he's actually by far my most favorite character in this whole thing.
Right? He was cool.
Because I think like there was a lot of virtue signaling in this show.
Yes.
Where basically very frequently they're like trying to be by the book.
Yeah.
But like I don't think it's necessarily morally decrepit or bankrupt or anything like that to use like things against people. Like think about our own government in real life.
Yes.
Like CIA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's this thing where like if you've got a lot of debt, for instance, you're extremely
manipulatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're looked at as like a high risk in terms of like top secret, blackmail and stuff like that.
Right.
Because you've got all this debt hanging over your head.
Exactly.
I don't think it's unrealistic to use stuff like that. And in this case, it's like they're bad people.
Yeah,
he's not
right.
doing it to good people. Like
Yeah.
she has committed crimes.
And he's basically, it's very much the fight fire with fire concept. And it all like I mentioned in the pitch, they all do see what the evil is. They all agree on that. But it's the paths they take to get there, which is why maybe Haru as a character I was a little less warm on. He's enjoyable in comedic settings and lighter settings, but like he found like so unwavering that he couldn't see why these executions of justice had their own merit, right?
Well, I think it's a common issue that people that are so successful all the time will commonly have. It's like when you've only been successful, the first time anything like a little bit more difficult shows up, you feel sort of like completely screwed or lost or whatever.
It tweaks what you consider normal.
Right.
The
So
normal,
he was a highly decorated guy in the first division. The thing with the girl that he shot happened.
Right.
He took that way too to heart for some reason. And now he's basically pushed himself out of the first division.
That was kind of an interesting way that...
Just wait.
Okay. So I was just saying the pacing was good here.
I'm going to forget.
Okay.
So basically, he pushes himself out. He made me fuck up. I don't know. I lost it.
No, yeah, he pushes himself out.
I know. I was on a train and now I'm off the train.
I derailed your train.
You fucked me.
Choo baby. But no, I get what you're saying. That.
Oh, okay. Got it back. So he hasn't had the like situation where he's completely screwed on a case like the older detective has.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like imagine being that detective. You live by the book, and back in his old days, they showed us flashbacks of that, and he was blocked out by everyone else, right? And kind of forced into this role of taking responsibility for a failure that he didn't fail at, you know?
Right.
And so, like, I don't know. I think when you haven't dealt with this, like, basic conspiracy aspect or, like, the bureaucracy coming down and putting the gavel on your throat, basically.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like it's a lot easier to be that like high and mighty, oh, you got to do everything by the book type guy. But I guarantee you when you start getting fucked by the system a little bit, or like, for instance, somebody will get away because of some like...
guess you doing it by the book. And then like that person...
but like some like technicality or something, or like something going on like outside of the system that you're working in.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's the points when characters like this would start feeling like, okay, maybe we can be a little more interpretive with the rules and maybe a little more lenient with like the correct way to do things. But I still think it was cool the way that he was like very respectful of the guy. Like it was clear that he realized the guy has a lot to offer him in terms of knowledge and wisdom and basically just overall like seniority. And I the scenes between the current chief, who used to be this guy's boss way back when in First Division, they both got sent down together, and him, where he's basically like, you're almost, at retirement age, chill out, you know what I mean? Like, I loved all that because it's just very like...
You can see the history. They did such a good job showing their history
but also
together.
The feeling. Like, it was just like, this guy really wants to solve his only like unsolved case, this cold case from 15 years ago.
It's the one that mattered the most.
Right.
It's his, yeah.
And that's kind of like, I think, a really good trope that you see in all detective type shows. Is like there's always that one kind of grittier cop that has this situation where
more than a chip on his shoulder.
There's some cold case that they couldn't solve because of external actors.
Yes.
And I think it's just, I love that in all shows, but like it really hit in this one.
And I was just thinking that because this show, we are brought down a path and we're seeing a bigger picture. And then as we get more of that picture, we then get the history of that guy's case, and then boom, they both hit at the same time.
Yeah, that was so fire.
Perfect.
The convalescence of the two stories.
I was saying the pacing. The pacing. Just superior on all accounts.
Quite.
And again, 11 episodes. A show that should not have been any longer or shorter, in my opinion. And they somehow told this really engaging cop story in 11 episodes.
The only thing I would say is there was not enough like actual mystery, because like I figured out exactly what was happening like the second they mentioned what had happened originally.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it was like very obvious.
The second that when the woman's like, a parent will do anything for their child, I'm like, yep, yeah. It's kind of rang the bell, but yeah, you're right. I wish they kind of would. And you know what's funny? A lot of mystery in anime doesn't. When is the last time you really got thrown for a loop in a story in an anime? I would say Erased got pretty close, but they kind of signaled the killer a little too quick, in my opinion. But
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want a show where I don't know what the point of signaling a killer immediately is. Like I like a lot of like real like Western stuff that we watch.
Yeah.
Like Criminal Minds a lot of times is great.
Great, yeah.
Because it's not immediate. Like you have to like really dig into these people to figure out who it is. But like in anime, I feel like it's almost too expressive. Does that make sense? I think it's one of its greatest strengths because it makes, in my opinion, drama, it makes action way better.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think you can do a lot of live action anime.
Absolutely not, no.
Because of how much this shit hits. Because of, I don't know, the way they draw it, I don't know, the subtle shading even will do enough to tell you like a somber moment or something like that, right? Like I just think it's much more expressive of a medium, and it's almost too expressive in like a detective story because like you instantly figure out what's going on. Like that for instance, we were talking about Erased. That teacher was creepy.
Right. And you're just like, even if it doesn't turn out to be this person, it almost can't be anything else. Like it has to be this teacher.
Like he's a bad guy regardless.
Right. And I keep thinking, I was thinking shows that are, expressive but also did well with their mystery, Promised Neverland.
100%.
Again, so like you can make it work, but I think what shows like this do
I feel like Promised Neverland is just an absence of information until they get you.
Yes, and I think it's important that the way they did it's just great.
I totally agree. I loved it. I'm just saying, like, in a situation where you meet the character that is the bad person.
Yes.
And they are acting like they do act, like it's not hidden enough. Like you're saying, Isabel.
Yeah.
Or Isabella.
Yeah.
Well, we never
really cleared that one up.
She was expressive, but she was expressing basically a veil.
Yes, and she was good at that. That's why she's in the position of mother. And
or what's that show?
Oh, I could see you.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, I can see you turn on it. It's not Vinland Saga.
Nope, it was recent. The crime one where suicide is happening everywhere.
Oh. It's not Babylon, right?
No, but it is. Maybe. It sounds really right, and I was going to say it earlier as well.
Yes, okay. But I think I know where Balance Unlimited kind of like went off the rails a little bit with that one. Again, this is the smallest. We have to get, in my opinion, nitpicks about Balance Unlimited because there's just, like you said, there's not a lot of negative here. But, like...
It is Babylon.
Nice. They played their hand. A lot of cop animes and detective animes do this. They play their hand because they're following narrative and visual anime tropes, whereas shows that throw you for a loop are doing new things with anime in terms of how expressiveness is handled. Like the amount of sakuga that went into the expressions of Promised Neverland was done purposefully to fool me. Whereas in shows like Balance Unlimited, it was signaling something. They used effort and movement to signal things rather than obscure things. And I don't know.
Well, I think so. I will say the difference between the two shows is, right, like you're watching from the perspective of a detective in Balance Unlimited.
Yes.
So like picking up like little subtle movements and stuff like that like makes sense.
Of course. Yeah. That's a good point.
Even in It Invaded. There's some people where I'm like, that person did it 100%.
They totally did that, yep.
And my proudest moment in all of detectiving that I've done.
Okay.
There's this one episode of Criminal Minds where this like, basically this like attractive high school girl gets killed. And they're trying to figure out who did it.
Right.
And they show this flashback of this random kid walking up to her saying, "Hey, Sky," and walking away. And I'm like, he did it 100%. Because he just said it in a weird way.
Hey, Sky.
And he was like,
hi.
Let's just say like she's way out of his league. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And I'm like, 100% that guy killed her.
Through the whole show. I'm a 1 and she's a 3.
Guess who killed her?
This freaky
that
kid.
Guy.
Nice
hey, Sky
win.
Guy.
Good galaxy brain move. But interesting you bring up the whole detective thing. You're right. You are from the perspective of a detective and therefore would have all of the bells and whistles a detective would have. Also a big fat AI, right?
Actually was not a fan of Husk at all.
Yeah, I'm to ask you about that because I kind of liked the concept of this guy who had almost like this godlike technical knowledge and ability to do stuff. Was then barred from information.
Yeah.
That felt really like, whoa. Because that was,
But it's also too, like, obvious. Telegraphing what's going on.
Yes, the second you're like, who else would have that information?
Am I wrong feeling that way? Because I felt like that honestly really cheapened the story.
No, I don't.
No shit, we know who's alive now, you know?
Yeah, and
then they act like, oh my god, he's alive!
Well,
like, shit.
Here's the problem, like, when you're approaching that level of... This is why, like, the BBC Sherlock was so good, right? When you have a character who cannot be fooled and has all these resources and you're from their perspective, you as the audience are then at their level, right? Because it's told from their perspective. You then have to write a plot twist or a mystery that can believably outmaneuver someone we're with, right? But Sherlock, in the real world Sherlock, that's why it was so popular, because they were mysteries that he would solve but give him a hard time. Like, we were there with him.
Right.
This show, it didn't quite, right? Like, it's hard to do. They did a pretty good job for what they had, but how do you make a mystery so intense that the guy with all of this money and technical power can't immediately see those telegraphs, right? It's a weird problem, and I don't blame them for that, but
I mean, like,
how do you believably outmaneuver someone like that? That's all.
It was almost like that was really the only bad part of the show, though. Like,
yeah,
like, I do think it was a little telegraphed. I think it was almost like a Deus Ex Machina, that it was like, oh, I can't figure it out because I'm being blocked out of my own AI system. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like, it basically telegraphs who's the bad guy, and kind of like what happened. But the good thing about that is it happened so late in the show.
Yeah, right. They didn't dwell on that, you know.
Well, like, what I mean is, it's not like they did that in the second episode and we're like, we know who it is the whole time.
Fair.
We pretty much only figured out who it was about episode 8, 9.
Yeah.
And then there's only 3 left, and it's really just the wrapping up of
Again,
show.
Pacing just so spectacular. I did like the commentary they had about, you know, what remember we asked each other what problems could money not solve. This show showed me none, essentially. None. There was...
Well, so the only one it didn't really solve, right, is the dog that died.
But depends on where your head sits, and like philosophically, did it? I think it could. Like, that's a solution to the problem, honestly.
The only one that is like, well, I think that's where you like start playing with morals, right? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, you're tricking the kid, but like, obviously the kid still thinks it's his dog, so yada yada. But yeah, I'm just saying,
would
like,
you rather have the unpleasant reality, or at least give the kid a little bit of bliss for a while, right?
I'd say, like, you gotta rip him out of this matrix system early.
Listen here, kid. Your dog's dead. Here's $75,000. Now go and buy another pet store or whatever the fuck. Like, you little scamp.
I will say the just like throwing insane amounts of money at people was a little stupid.
Yeah, okay, I was just going to say, because that, for me, was what I thought was going to be kind of the initial hook for you. Just some guy literally bawling out at the highest caliber possible. But
it was, like, almost too much, right? Like for mundane shit, he's like, all right, let's triple the paybacks. Like, it's like, shut up, dude.
Well, I think that's what he's talking, like, that's kind of what the show is saying, that with enough money, no one will even, like, if they paid everything back in full, they might start asking questions why this happened in the first place. If you got all your money back for everything destroyed times 2, I'd probably just like, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it too. The problem is, like, this happens so frequently throughout the show, and they're shooting rockets at buildings, and he's buying buildings out from under people. It's like,
that's a weird one, yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, what's the point at a certain point? Just buy everything, and then, you know what I mean? Like, if your balance is really unlimited, like,
you could buy everything.
Like, what's the point?
That's a good point.
They should have given him, like, just a really stupid high balance, and then his, like, 7 billion yen episodes, like, show, like, a considerable chunk missing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been more interesting. Or like, maybe show him doing some business deals and stuff. You remember that one episode? He has that guy from Colorado or some, like, dumb place that they made up.
Yeah, and they're in like the bunker area.
Yeah.
Kinda. Interesting.
Like, imagine like he had a balance that was dwindling, but then, you know, he adds a new business deal, and so his balance skyrockets again. Like, imagine, like, that would have been a little more fun. Obviously, 11 episodes, you can't do shit like that.
Right.
I'm just saying, if they wanted to make it a little longer, a little more like,
a little more fleshed out. Because I think giving him an opportunity where his money is gone is brilliant. Like, and
well, I thought that was
fucking
like
funny.
It was a great episode, but I thought it was, like, much different the way that you explained it. So I'm glad you kind of explained it like you did.
Okay.
Because I thought you were saying, like, he, like, straight up doesn't have his money after that point.
Oh, right. No, he loses
it was just
the
one
ability.
Specific day.
Right, exactly. And it's really was just him throwing a fucking temper tantrum.
I still don't really know what happened.
I think it's because his sister, cousin, wife. I know it wasn't the wife.
Definitely not wife.
Definitely not wife. No. when Haru got so relieved, like, oh hell yeah, of course it's your sister. Can I get her number though, real quick? Can I get those digits? She changed his shoe size like 3 centimeters up or something.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, because they were thinking of what she did. It's like, oh, I put like something in this. What is it, Nola or Noma? Or what's the stuff that the really cheap, almost tofu-y kind of stuff? I don't know. Natto, that's it. I put natto in this shit this morning to watch his weight, and like they're thinking, what did we do to piss him off? And it's like, oh, you changed his shoe size for him, and he's like, that must be it. I'm such an idiot. How could I be so cruel? They coddle his ass. It makes sense why I didn't know how to fucking grocery shop.
Yeah, but that episode was hilarious.
It was really funny.
Absolutely great. I loved Suzue. I loved Grandma.
Oh man,
great show. I don't. Let me rate it at the end because I have to like kind of rethink about it.
Okay, then you want to hit Tokyo Ravens? Then?
Let's hit it.
Okay, so
I want to know your thoughts because you've been extremely quiet about it.
Right. So Tokyo Ravens,
like ridiculously quiet.
24 episodes.
Scarily quiet about it.
Ghostly even. Total non-responsive.
You're a ghoul.
I'm a ghoul of myself, and this is kind of an interesting show, right?
Good. Good start.
It felt really, really generic, but it had really good points. I think I guess I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I would pitch this to someone newer to the space. This isn't even something I guess I would pitch as like a run home and watch it now. Like, put it in your list. You come across it, you're going to have a good time, I think. Big highlight. That lore and power system. So interesting.
Yeah, like so deep and varied, which was what was cool is like all these people are just using completely different shit. It's similar to like a Black Clover type thing where everyone's got their own power basically.
Exactly, but it's like well known that like there's like obvious certain spells to use in very common situations, right? If you're going after a spirit disaster and you want to purify it, they typically will all use some kind of form of like order, I guess, was your basic. So regale me this. When you scream shit at a talisman, cut the rope, burn the shit, do this, go get me cake, and then order. They're incantations of commands the talismans do something? I don't know. There weren't many like classes. There was some elemental set of shit, but it seemed like everyone could just scream, go get me a biscuit, order, boom, and it just go do the thing.
I don't know if I got that same vibe. I would say it's sort of like the way I kind of think about it is like, the hand signs in Naruto. It's like invoking something and then it happens.
It happens. Okay. Yeah. Because
kind of like dealing with the Japanese like love for all these commies and shit like we talked about earlier in last episode.
Right.
It's like sort of invoking all these like things to have happened.
Right.
I don't know, like that I was very confused early on about the power system.
Me too. Yeah.
Especially like that first big fight.
Yes.
Suzuka and who's the main character girl?
Natsume.
Yeah. When they're like doing this insane fight on flying horses and shit, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Thank you. Okay, I was pretty confused at first too. I think that
what the fuck is happening?
and now there's a horse and holy shit, a yellow dragon and holy shit, a heaven portal. So something that this is a common thing that a lot of shows do, and it actually can work too. It's a double-edged thing. When you are dropped into a world, and it's the show had very little exposition. If you look at like the lore and the power system, they just threw it out there as the characters in. It's like the opposite of dramatic irony. We know so much less than the characters do, but they're not going to explain it to us, right? Oh, it's this person from history. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's a non-imperial style of magic. Oh, it's I think that shows that do this really well, it works to great effect. Made in Abyss, Tower of God. they don't exposize to you. They just happen and you piece them together like the smart boys and gals that we are. However, the opposite of this is it has a really, really confusing effect on the audience. Like when you do it rapid fire like this show kind of does sometimes, like, wait, non-imperial. I didn't know there was an imperial style to begin with. Like, hold on. When you're already jumping carps without getting a little bit of that base, it doesn't quite work. I think the show had that in a couple places.
So I'd like to respond quickly.
Okay.
I think the lore of this story is definitely better than the lore of Tower of God. Because they don't really explain dog shit, even still, in Tower of God. Yeah,
I think that's too shrouded in mystery to compare. But you're right. I think...
Well, you mentioned it is the only reason I'm saying
I know.
that.
That's a me thing. It's my mistake.
But... So, like, I agree with you 100%. Like, through maybe half, I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on?
And once I finally got enough things repeated, yeah.
I was absolutely on the hook, though.
Okay.
The stuff with Yaku, and basically, I mean, the way they explain it is all this was created to combat in World War II.
Yes.
Right?
Literally weaponizing magic.
So, I'm instantly in there, right? But, and then I think a lot of, like, confusing stuff that we're talking about sort of makes a little more sense because we're coming from Harutora's point of view, and he's been like deliberately kept out of this stuff.
And
but he does know more than he's telling us, which is the only like real concern, right? Like, because we know his dad has some amount of power and is a good doctor.
He's a great doctor,
related to these like ogres and shit, and you're like, what is going on? And so like, I definitely don't like think that you're wrong at all about saying like it was confusing in the beginning, because it absolutely was.
It definitely kind of brings it
there's home. Even like parts even 75% in, I'm like, what's happening?
What the fuck is this?
I did really enjoy it.
I did, and I try to pick out why. Maybe it was just like a fun romp. I did like the romance in this was actually okay. Any character though, like Harutora, basically is obliviousness is meant as a character trope so heavy like he is. Like he didn't fucking realize anything until he was like very, very end. Like he should have noticed that Natsume was Hokito. That's it.
I mean,
come
the second she pulled out a dragon named Hokito,
right?
That's be like, huh?
Wait a minute, isn't that the same name? And then you see it in the ribbon in her hair. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Stupid
Tora, like shut the fuck up.
You just said Bakatora, like come on. It's.
Wait, did you watch it in sub? Oh no,
Bakatora. Again, that.
It was a lot more clear in dub, is all I can say.
Gotcha.
Like, they all said Super Tora in the exact same way. Stupid Tora. Which was actually fun as shit.
Yeah,
because he was stupid.
He's a dumb boy. And
yeah.
I don't.
What about his like definitely not side character friend? Ogre boy?
Toji?
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He rips.
I loved him.
He rips.
He was an instigator. He was like, he perfectly put Harutora on blast regularly.
And he basically was like us, right? He knew what was going on at all times.
Definitely a conduit for audience insertion.
So what do you think about Divine Generals, bro?
Fucking rad. Maybe my favorite part of the show is that everyone, they're basically, it's interesting. They did a really good job showing you that even if you become a professional Onmyo mage, you could be relegated to like an office temp. Like you could just be in like an office, a desk jockey, or you can be like basically so good that they're like contracted. You can just do what you want until you have to get called in. Like Renji guy, is that his name? The ogre eater.
Yeah. He was the big time like exorcist
for ogres specifically. I guess they all got a nickname somehow.
I don't know what the fuck the ogre eater shit was about, to be honest with you.
Because I think he rather eats them and increases his own spiritual energy rather than kills them and purifies them straight up, right?
I don't know, man.
Yes.
There was definitely, like, there was a lot going on. Like, that is one thing I don't know if I mentioned that in my pitch. I tried to keep it a little, like, vague.
I understand why. Saying a lot, I mean, it would give a lot of shit away.
Well, it would also, like, I think the pitch would get really
in the weeds.
Yeah. Well, really like frenetic. is that the fucking word?
Frantic, maybe.
Manic, maybe.
I think you're going manic.
We're like, look, like I'd have to explain a lot to get anywhere, and then it's like, just watch the show, you know what I mean? So like, that's what I wanted to do one where there's a lot going on. There's a really deep lore, interesting story. Characters are fairly strong. I think a lot of them. I wanted
fucking pigtail girl. Maybe I'm tsundere out, man. I don't know. I did not find her appealing.
Yeah.
Was it Sakura?
I think it was Suzuka.
Suzuka, that sounds right. Suzuka, man, like.
But she was a divine general.
She was a divine general. She was a beast on the battlefield. But my goodness, she was annoying every other time she was on screen, man. Like, I couldn't get behind her. And maybe, again, she is classic tsundere, but I just couldn't wrap I don't know. Maybe it's because I've had the last couple of tsunderes have been like super lukewarm on. Sasha Necron,
Yeah, I think the only real like massive problem I had with the show was the basically the opposition. All the antagonists were sort of random and out of nowhere. And like it was clear they had a lot to do with the story, but they didn't really bring us in fast enough.
Yeah.
And so at least I felt like with the princess chick near the end, with the guys that are reincarnating left and right, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, riddle me this, Batmat.
Batmat,
my Matt Bat friend. How in the world?
Is that a yoga mat with wings?
Yes, it's a spooky Halloween themed yoga mat. Downward dog,
downward bat,
upward bat. Now, riddle me this: the antagonists were mostly the Yoka followers, devotees.
Yeah.
Yaku. Why Yaku? That's it. Yaku devotees. Why couldn't Natsumi, the perceived reincarnation, the one they're all fawning over, basically not flex that clout and be like, okay, guys, you want to follow me and what I want? Stop attacking. Your King of the North Star says so. That could have negated like 40, 50%.
No. So the deal was they had to take her or him.
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
And literally force the reincarnation.
Oh, that ritual that we got at the beginning. Okay, the missed that detail.
Totsuku or whatever.
Yes. Tyson Foco for sure.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That was a mistake.
Nice. Smooth moves, Texlax.
Yeah.
So they were gonna try to basically get her and kill her essentially to do this reincarnation thing.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't seem like after you reincarnate you like exactly kill the other spirit.
I think the only one that they knew how to do, except within other really inner circles, was the one trading a life for a life, right? Because that was the only one
that would just be the random people, yeah.
Suzuka, yeah, that's the only one that they knew, right?
So, did you have like a favorite character that wasn't part of the main cast?
You know exactly what I'm gonna say.
I think
Jin.
Yeah.
Is it Otano?
Something like that.
Otano. The badass ex-divine general teacher with one leg. Shadow. Like, okay, he is, by all accounts, should have been an edgelord piece of shit character, but they wrote him so wholesome, so cool. I just want to protect my students. Fuck you if you get in my way. Like, literally, that was the most badass. I think that's the part that locked it in for me when he poked Ogre Eater in the back with his staff and said, just in this conversation right now, I've put dozens of just high-level curses on you. And he's like, no, you can't. It's impossible. Yeah, I'm not. But even if 90% of it's true, still 10% are really shitty curses. So you have to go research all the possible ones and get back to me.
Yeah.
So baller. God, I love him.
Yeah, I mean, he was just unbelievably sick. I think those teacher characters that have like this incredible past, right? But that like,
yeah,
I agree. He locked it in for me. His fight with Master
Daemon,
yes, like unfucking believable.
Because you didn't up to that point really know. I guess I didn't really have a grasp on the power system, right? I was just kind of like, okay, you can do incantations. There's some really high level ones. You have familiars, and okay, I will say CGI rant, not great. sometimes were good.
CGI.
The CGI, yeah.
I don't recall any CGI.
What are you smoking, dude? All of the machines for CGI.
Oh, those are
all the machines.
Those are trash. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the dragon was okay, and sometimes
serious cut.
Some serious kush. Yeah. So up to the point in the show, you got maybe incantations, you had some familiars, whatever, nothing crazy, and then Jin versus Daemon is this like Naruto style elemental battle, and you're like, okay, this shit's rad. This shit sounds cool. So
Suzuka, because of all the bullshit she did in the beginning, was sealed off basically like 90% of her powers.
Yeah.
Mid battle, Jin goes over to her and unseals her powers so that she can help protect. Like this guy.
Yeah, remember, this was a seal to suppress a divine general, so it already had to be stronger than her because she couldn't undo it. And he just like casually click. Done. Yeah, I gotta go back to battling real quick. Just a quick breather, but you're good. So
I thought so. Back to the power system really fast. Each of the divine generals was like known for something specific.
Right.
How sick was that?
The Bond princess, which hot, but it was the barrier. The barrier stuff was rad as shit. The fire guy, Miss Miyachi or something like that.
I don't know, but he was unreal.
He would just do this, just stand and do nothing, and he was just a fire daddy. Through and through. Who else do we see fight on the Divine Generals? The Fan.
The Fan, bro.
What was his power set? I don't even know. Like it was almost like Genjutsu.
I was gonna say Genjutsu.
They use the word Genjutsu in this show, but whenever the subtitles call it sorcery.
Interesting.
But I heard them scream Genjutsu.
Genjutsu.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's pretty rad.
Tsukuyomi.
I guess if I can only knock this show, it's because maybe my expectations for shows now are getting slowly overall higher. Like, but we've seen a bunch, we have to be analytical, and I guess I gotta go in like, you know what? For what this was, it was pretty generic. It did shine in its lore and its backdrop of the world and the power system was fun. I wish they actually did more with the lore. They showed us its depths, but they never really got us to. I wish that maybe
spit it out.
I know Horatora
became
who he ended up being 2 episodes prior. Give him a little more time to pick the brain of this person, right?
Yeah. So the way I view it. And I looked up immediately after this, like, is there a season 2?
Yes.
It's like, you almost need one.
It does smell season 2-ish, doesn't it?
You almost need one to kind of feel like you're talking. Like, okay, we've been waiting this whole season to see what the deal with this reincarnation shit is.
Right.
It's like, please, like, give us something.
Give it to me. Yeah.
Did you immediately know it was him, though, that was the real one? Or were you, like, basically tricked by the show thinking he was really just like a familiar? I think you were, based on one of the early things you sent me.
I was tricked because even though I had my doubts that it was Natsumi, because reincarnation, and I don't know if it had to be a boy or whatever, it just said it had to be the blood of the main family. So I was going to say, I thought the twist was going to be, the reincarnation's bullshit and these guys are just chasing nothing down. Then they're going to find out it's a girl.
That would have been really cool, too.
Yeah, right. Like, they are just told that, or just believe blindly that this is the reincarnation. We're like, no, this is horseshit. No. But yeah, I had no idea, Harutoru, because he just seemed... I knew some shit was going down when his little star started to freak out on him when she was trying to go ham.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so I would say almost immediately, just because he's the main character of the show. So it'd be really weird for like him to be peripherally and get involved.
I guess, but I guess the whole was his hair dyed yellow? Was it blonde dyed because he has black tips?
That was Shadow, I think. It's back behind his ears a little bit. Like
then sure.
Shadow.
All things considered, then he's blonde, so I just didn't even think. Like, we got flashbacks of Yako and Natsumi. There's like a shared visual language between those two characters, and he looked in no way like any of that shit. So.
Well, he very well may have been dyed just in an effort to keep him even farther away from like.
Oh, he could have been because they were trying to keep him away. That could be. I'd buy that.
Well, because the other, I can't remember the flashbacks of when he was a kid, whether he had blonde hair or not.
He did. Well, yeah, when he was talking to Koyoko and Kikyo and Natsume.
Did you know instantly it was him that she was?
Yes, okay. That I did know. Yeah, there's no way.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that there was some weird. They kind of almost ditched the love shit like halfway through, right? For like that proper kind of more shonen-y plot, right? And then they circled back to it in a nice way. But what actually happened to Natsume at the end? They just take him to an apartment and
no. She's dead. She's like lost in ether.
Really? That's what that was?
Yeah.
I thought he literally like saved her.
Do you remember at the very end there, like the Tenzin Fukan sorta worked?
Oh right, sorta.
So I think they've reclaimed her soul, but it's not back.
So now that's technically season 2 is him trying to figure out how to get her back.
I think like that's pure speculation.
That'd be a good way to take it though. He now has all his old gifts back, and he is the foremost expert of magic dealing with souls. This is a natural through line that uses all of his expertise to get her back. Makes sense. I'm into it. So
one thing you messaged me, you're like, are all these fucking guys related?
Yeah,
because like yes, all the important
everyone's
ones were
related. Oh, there's 3 families that kind of closely tied, but it seemed like everyone else except maybe Mono, the glasses kid. Yeah.
So I actually thought Kyoko or whatever was gonna start falling for him.
Yeah, me too.
But I also was like, he's a loser, so what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say he's the only one that doesn't really fit the like, oh yeah, we're all related situation, but he is famous because his mom is so famous.
Gotcha.
So the way that you kind of asked is like, is there like some predisposition or something to magic? Like how does this work? I think it's possible that anyone could, but I think there's definitely a predisposition based on the family like lineage. Because it seemed like really rich and powerful families were sending their kids to Omnio Mage Tech or whatever you want to call it.
And they had a lot of emphasis on, oh, you're just a basic person from a good family, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. It didn't blow my nut hair back, but it definitely
excuse me.
You heard me. It didn't rock the socks.
I'm surprised.
It didn't rock the socks, I would say. But it was a fun romp. But again, if a season 2 were to come out, I think I've just put so much time into it now that yes, I'd probably watch it.
I feel like it got more interesting as the season went on.
It did.
Certainly. And I'm definitely more invested now than I was in the beginning. But I agree with you. Like, you feel like at the end, you're like, well, I have to watch another season if it comes out.
Yep. This is now in the brain and it's now fresh. So, okay. I mean, I guess it's ratings time. Yeah. It's ratings time. Balance Unlimited for me, I'm going to give it a 93 out of 100 AI glasses. Loved this show.
I think for me, I'm going to give it a 89 out of 100.
Okay. All right. Slipped out of 90s territory.
Susan A's.
Let's see. Tokyo Ravens, I'm going to give it a 76 out of 100 incantations.
That's fair.
Or Fox Demons. I don't even talk about Con. She was adorable. Little Con was cute as fuck. And just when she was starting to wear on me, boom, adult Fox chick. Boom.
So I was concerned about all the bullshit they were doing with like accidental situations they were falling into. Not a fan of that at all.
Yep.
I think honestly.
Oh, I forgot about the Love Hotel bullshit. Ew.
Yeah, anime just has to stop that shit in general. It's like, let's stop normalizing like falling in love with kids and doing weird shit with kids. Like it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just anyway. It wasn't. I don't know
if it's a cultural difference. I mean, it's not like they're advocating for it. They just kind of show that as a point of humor.
But I don't know, man.
Because everyone in the show is like, you're seriously fucked up in the head. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, but like they also animated all that, right? Like it's true. It's easy as hell just to not involve that. But I will say, like her love for him made sense once they explained the backstory of Cone and like made her an adult again. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, okay,
that makes a lot of sense.
Like finally this whole thing makes sense.
So does she know the entire time she didn't have her memories blocked? She was just,
I think they were blocked, but like
I think she knew the whole time, but she didn't want to.
No.
But didn't she say that if I release this, it might jog his memories back? That means she knew that he was the reincarnation? Because she said, I'm going to have to force the seal open, but it's essentially going to jog memories back for him.
I don't know. I can't even like really comment on that. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But it seems plausible. But so she was like voraciously protective of him the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because she knew it was Yaku or if it was just because he's a Tsuchimikado and she was tasked with it.
Perfect.
Actually terrifying.
I know. It's always terrifying because it's just no warning.
Fire alarm. Here we go.
Here we go.
No. So, anyway, I think kind of like that whole thing was pretty cool. And I feel like you should know early on that there's something awry because they're giving him all these like familiars.
Oh yeah.
To protect him.
They're giving him a lot of help. Yeah.
But Hokito not responding to him was always odd to me.
Oh, that's true.
Especially like near the end when like it's clear that he's the guy. It's like, shouldn't he be the one that's like really using Hokito?
That's a good point. Oh yeah, it's so still with Natsume. Well, I guess if there's a season 2, he'll have free reign to Hokito. So
well, I think now he's the presumptive head due to the fact that she's dead. But yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed this show. I thought it was a really fun romp, like you said.
Yeah.
And the lore, I don't know, man. It was deep. It was complicated.
Very fleshed out. Yeah, it was.
And it was just really interesting. So I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I would give it probably like a 82 out of 100 Imperial Arms.
Yes, 100 Imperial Arms. Best show. As far as pitches, you did a great job pitching it. I think you got me in. You got me
by not pitching it.
Right. You did just enough to get me intrigued and letting me kind of have my own fun with it. Would I pitch this to someone? Yes, I think I would. If someone's like, "Hey, I'm running dry. I'm caught up on seasonals. I'm like, you like romance, like little shonen action. Yeah. So here you go. Yeah. And this is for someone that might like maybe my cousin Mirko. He likes romance stuff. He likes shonen stuff. This might be a good intersection of the two. So someone like that, I guess just know your audience.
But I would say if you're like, if you're talking to somebody that's like very critical of anime, you know what I mean? Like this is not like a critical masterpiece.
There are holes to be poked, to be sure.
Right. And like it's going to feel weird for half of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like really you're lost.
Yes.
And so if people are very critical of anime, I would not suggest this show.
That's a good call.
But if you're like one of those people that are able to just sit there and watch something and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I literally just turned it on randomly because it was on Hulu and I freaking loved it.
And I think too, this would be a good one for people that are not 100% new in the space, but haven't watched enough that the tropes feel tropish, right? They haven't seen the trends of like, oh, this isn't every single one. Oh, it's just another one of those familiar things again. But there's if you aren't big anime watchers at the moment, but know the genres you like, this one will probably get your gander. You'll enjoy this one. So liked it. Good pitches.
Agree.
Good pitches. Great pitches even. I'd argue.
Fire. Spooky.
Fire. Yes, but next time, hopefully I'll have watched some. But I will maybe have watched some scary anime and give you all a little rundown of some of the spooks I watched. Maybe I got any recommendations. Spooks and goofs. But thank you all for coming back to class. For those that want to watch with your eyes and your ears, hi, you're watching waveforms right now. I imagine, but we got most of that one on the book, so I'm into it. If you want to listen with your ears and not your eyes, check us out anywhere you get your podcast fix: Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, CastBox, and many, many more. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel and on our Apple podcast page to help us pop up on others' recommendeds. What else? You got socials, Instagram at weebology.podcast. Got memes on news, and sometimes giveaways. Maybe a spooky
Twitter at weebologyp.
Spooky giveaway.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I don't know. I'm going to figure it out.
I am not in the know about our spooky giveaway. Spooky giveaways. I guess we're giving away slime.
We're giving away slime. We're giving away ghosts. You can't see them.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Weeby the ghost.
Oh, we got to bring Weeby back.
Oh my God, there he is.
He's here. And our email, if you want to have us listen to a anime.
Wow.
If you want us to watch or listen to anything, and we will watch anime. We're going to do some viewer
suggestions. Will watch anime, we
will watch anime, we promise. Weebologypodcast at gmail.com. Drop us a line if you just want to say hi or demand that we watch an anime of your choosing.
I think the next one on the list is Shangri-La or something like that.
The computer full of coffee one?
Yes.
That'd be a good one to start. Okay. In for it. But until next time, I'm Ricky.
And I'm your overlord.
And this has been Weebology. Deuces. I'll bow to you, sir. Please be kind and generous.
Boo.
Boo.